Says you're live. What's up, Scott?
Hey, what's going on, Matt?
Hey, good to see you, man. How's your day going?
You good, man? Good.
Yeah,
Just staying in the grind, doing the things,
doing the things, doing the camera thing, huh?
doing the camera thing. Yes, sir.
So we'll kind of take a few seconds to kind of let this thing get kicked off onto LinkedIn and YouTube and all the other places. So in the meantime, as people are logging in and showing up here, let us know where you're calling in from. Let us
Yeah.
know
So
you're
sure. Just outside of Winston-Salem, North Carolina area, I live in a fantastic no stoplight town that has a trade track that runs right through the center of it. I like it out here. It's peaceful, nice and quiet. But that's advanced North Carolina. So just outside of Winston-Salem, and that's where we're headquartered. Actually, is in Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
That's awesome, man. You from that area originally, or?
Funny enough, yes, definitely from the area, but moved around a lot as a kid. So my dad was in the ministry, and then I joined the military, traveled the world, came home, and somehow I wound up right back in this neck of the woods.
So how'd you get into the camera game?
Well, that's a funny story. I was in a different role with a different company that was sold, and then tripped over this job on either LinkedIn or Indeed and submitted my application, went through a couple interviews, and I've now been doing it for over 8.5 years.
That's awesome, man. I know on the I want to put you on the spot, but on the call we had the other day, the kind of the kick up the prep call, talking about this, they told us you had actually have a True Look tattoo.
I do. Yeah. On the back of my right calf, decided I took a trip to Ireland for personal. So we took a vacation, decided it was a perfect time to get my first leg tattoo. And while in Ireland, might as well make it green. So yeah, I've got True Look tattooed on the back of my right leg.
So when they say you bleed green, it literally is stamped on you.
It's literally stamped on me, yeah. And I tell everyone that's been my motto for quite a while here at True Look. Love what I do, love the people I work with, and I do truly bleed green.
That's awesome, man. So before we jump into this, kind of the rules of the road for all the people out there on LinkedIn and YouTube is we want this to be interactive. Scott's going to do a live demo of their software. He's going to be clicking the buttons and doing the thing. It's not going to be purely a slideshow webinar type of situation. So he's going to show us how the system actually works. But we want to be interactive. So if you got questions, comments, throw them in the comment section. I'll pull as many as I can up onto the screen and have Scott answer live for everybody. But if we can't get to it, or maybe it's a little bit nuanced for your situation, there's a couple of True Look people in the comments. I know Lauren's there, and I think someone else is there as well. So they'll be answering comments in the comment section as well. So yeah, let's make it interactive. And if you're out there, I see Lauren. Speaking of Lauren, she's here. She's calling in from Charlotte as well. So if you're out there, let us know where you're calling in from. Let us know you're here. And with that, Scott, you want to jump in?
Yeah, let's fire away. So topic today, of course, is 7 biggest job site security blind spots. So to share with you kind of those blind spots and how we're going to cover all this, I'm going to start with this really cool overlay designer. This is a big part of my job here at True Look now. And thanks to my CEO for putting this together. It's the best tool we've ever had at our disposal. So all the things I used to do manually, I get to really have some fun with now. And I love the fact that I get to share it with you. So the first thing, of course, is I can upload any site plan that I have. And so now I have my project site plan set. And this is the first step to understanding any project. Now I can do this with a site plan, or I can do it with something as easy as an address. And I'll show you what that looks like here in just a little bit as well. But from here, I can actually zoom in. And what I want to do is I want to make sure that I set my scale properly. And scale matters because cameras can only see so far. They can only do so much in the grand scheme of things. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that we set that scale based on the site plan itself. So I just drag through here. Set my scale. We're going to say this is 120 feet. It's a little blurry down here, but just for the sake of time. So my job is to look at a job site itself and understand, okay, what are we building? Where is it going to be? What constraints do we have? We look for things like entryways, exits. It also helps when we understand where a job site trailer might be or your staging and laydown area. And we'll cover all of these facts as I go through it. So what we do, and I can, yeah, go ahead.
Real quick. So this is a service you guys are providing where you guys are looking at people's job sites with them or for them and helping them lay out and find these blind spots, correct?
That's 100%. Any job site, anytime. Again, all we need is a site plan or an address, and we can help you in that regard.
Yeah, right on.
So, yep, current customers, new customers, it doesn't matter. Any project team can reach out and let us know, hey, we want to do X, Y, and Z. So whether that's I want to see the clubhouse and pool be built, where should I place a camera to do that? What would work best? Or we have restrictions or requirements coming down from, let's say, the ownership or an insurance group that say we need specific things to happen on this particular project for security reasons. And so we take all of those different factors into account to understand, again, what's happening on the project, what are the constraints, what do we need to look at, how are we doing this? And we'll go through a lot of that as we talk through this today. So great question. But what I can do here, and the beauty of this tool, is I can take any one of my cameras, I can find a location, and then this is going to show me exactly what my camera is going to see based on where it's placed inside the site plan, or again, from an address on kind of a Google map image. So I can take these cameras, I can place them around. What we typically try to do is protect, especially those entryways. So easy access to drive a vehicle, tow a trailer, grab a bunch of stuff and get off the site.
Mm-hmm.
But when we just want to see what's happening, we'll take cameras and we'll place them strategically so that our customers can see the majority of the project from a single scope. So for instance, this is a fixed position camera. So standard digital zoom functionality and capability, whereas we may look at, especially in multifamily or a multi building concept, is to try and place PTZ cameras or robotic pan tilt zoom in a strategic location for our clients that allows for them to see multiple buildings at any given time. So I take this PTZ and you'll see that this PTZ will rotate around and see multiple instances at any given time.
That's so cool.
And so this is one part of it. And then this camera will also see well beyond 411 feet. I've taken our 4K IR PTZ camera, and I can tell you what type of car is parked approximately a mile away from this camera. Now, I can't read a license plate, but I can tell you if it's a Ford Fusion, if it's a Chevy Silverado, kind of a gearhead on the side as well. But that's the big piece of it, is understanding what the project is, what's the main goal, are there restrictions and requirements, and we have different tools to help with that. So the first part of it are IR cameras that will have monitoring capability that can be built in on the back end. This helps the project teams get someone else's eyes on it so that they don't have to rely on or count on team members that they already count on and rely on, let's say 12 hours of the day. It's very difficult for someone to get a bunch of alerts overnight when they're trying to get sleep so they can be even more effective on the project the following day. So that's the first step. And then we also offer what we call our true deter option. So this is kind of the first or the upscaled version of security. You're going to have lights and sirens available to you and monitoring on the back end so that when something happens, they can alert to it. They can change the strobe, and then the siren goes off as well. So that's kind of the first jump into that better security. But the idea is with the blinking, flashing light, statistically, it helps keep people from even venturing onto the site. And that's our goal, is to keep them off of your site in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
The next level is our True Shield unit. So the best part about our True Shield unit is we can provide a single unit that sits inside, but offers you 3 different cameras that will look in 3 different directions at any time. And so the beauty of this system is we do get that underlayment with, let's say, a fixed position camera, and we can use 2 PTZs, or we can alternate that if it works best to use 1 PTZ and 2 fixed. So I like to call it kind of a Mr. Potato Head configuration. I can design it to do exactly what you need it to. And we use these especially a lot when it comes to perimeter coverage. And when I say perimeter coverage, what I need to see is, let's say, this interior entryway. but then I want to be able to see down both sides of this. So I can take these and I can move them up just a touch. And so now I have this perimeter on this lower side of my project. This is the beginning of what we would consider perimeter coverage. We're looking at entryways. We're looking at the entire perimeter of a project, your fence lines. The goal is to keep somebody from intruding onto the project and not necessarily capturing once they're inside. So the faster we can alert to someone entering a project and potentially causing harm, damage, or of course, trying to steal something, we want to make sure we're capturing that as quickly as possible. So these site plans are instrumental in us doing this piece of the job to understand what are we doing, what are we building, and where are my blind spots going to be. So another factor here, and I'm going to drop another one with 2 fixed in it. And the reason why I'll drop one with 2 fixed is because I can come down this backside with 1, but now I can take this one across the other side looking out towards the outer entrance. And some may say, hey, Scott, it looks like this camera's looking all the way down this roadway. That's perfect. It absolutely is. Our team knows that they need to turn this camera interior, and then they'll actually put in kind of a geofencing or a fence line that blocks out active roadways. Because if somebody's just driving by, that isn't detrimental to your project, that is not going to matter as much. But we want to make sure that we're removing as much of what we call false alerting as we possibly can. So we take sidewalks and roadways and things of that out of the equation as much as possible.
Yeah, my Ring doorbell camera, I just got to reset back up, and it's constantly, there's a car driving on your street. I'm like, yeah, no kidding. Like, thanks.
So yeah, sensitivity's a little high on that one.
I gotta go figure out how to dial that one back down, because it's I'm gonna miss the bad guy coming because I'm ignoring all the cars on the street.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So those are the things that we look at as we design these. And again, we'll do this for any customer, anytime, for any project, anywhere in the US. And that's the beauty of what I get to do on a day-to-day basis, is helping them understand how are we going to protect the site, what's it going to look at. And I don't want you to know if somebody's just driving down the street like your Ring camera's doing for you now. We want to remove that. And so the first level is our team designing the back end of it, understanding what we do need to see, what we don't need to see. The second level of that is the AI. We don't want to alert to four-legged friends that are running across the front yard or whatever it is. And then the third level, of course, is the live monitoring team. So they will assess, and then we have different levels of severity based on where a project may be located. If it's in kind of not so great part of town that's being rehabbed but still has some issues, that threat level may be a little bit higher. But if it's, let's say, outside Northeast Georgia in a semi-calm neighborhood type area, maybe we bring that threat level down and it's not nearly as serious, because you might have what I love to call or looky-loos. So somebody on a Sunday afternoon got out of church and decided they wanted to go see what was happening next door. So we want to make sure that we're balancing and judging that as best as we possibly can by both back-end systems and live interaction as well.
Do you see there was a thing, sorry, I'm taking you on a little tangent, but there was this thing I saw on the internet not long ago, and I think it's in Italy or France. It's like, there's a specific, maybe Germany, it's one of those European countries, but there's a specific name for like a retired man who goes and sits and watches construction job sites. It's like, I guess it's such a hobby over there that like there was a specific name built for these guys. And there was a picture, and I mean, it's internet, it could be all fake, I don't know. But there was a picture of like 8 old retired men just standing outside of a construction job site fence, just watching.
Funny story is that's not as uncommon as you would think. I've had customers that will pay someone to live on site in, let's say, their own personal camper, and that reduces because someone is active on site. Yeah. So they'll pay people to live on site. I've talked to retirees as well that want to travel the country, and there's a program that you can sign up for where you find these places to go hang out for a few months and you swap out with somebody. It just keeps rotating.
I guess that's my retirement plan.
Pretty wild.
Figure out how to get.
I just don't know if I would want to be responsible for that level of security myself. All right. So we've discussed, things like perimeter and lay down, staging, where your job site trailer is going to be. So there's going to be some of the blind spots that we look for. And on any given site plan, the other thing that I want to address quickly is I would never want to put something here where a retention pond is going to be. a project team is going to have to do so much fill work, land work, earth removal. There's just so much that's going to happen in places like this that I try to take these out of the equation as much as possible. That's another part of my job, is understanding where the blind spots could potentially be. So entry point here, but then making sure that I'm not capturing this or trying to place equipment in that particular zone. I want our customers to have the best experience possible. And the best experience is to outline their project where there's minimal interference from a camera system on their project site. So there's a multi-folded opportunity here to help our customers and make it as easy and flawless on their project site as possible.
That's smart, because I mean, construction project, they're dynamic. Like, because you can have a camera in one spot and it's showing perfectly the entrance point, but you got to know a building's going to come up and pop up there, and so instantly you're going to be blind. And so, do you work through? Is it kind of like you work to help them, move the trailer around, the cameras around, like as in a phased situation sometimes as the construction site's in phase construction?
We absolutely do. Yeah. One of the biggest phases that I worked on was a 4-phase construction project that started with, let's call it 12 trailers. But by the end of it, all we needed was about 6. And so what we did is we designed a multi-phase program for the client so they could have everything they needed at the beginning. But as they closed out the phases, so as things were built and people, especially in multifamily, people move in, we want to be able to reduce that system for them so that they're not, number one, paying for a system that's just monitoring people that already live there.
Right.
And number two, help save them money inside their project budgets. But this one was, I believe, if memory calls or serves me, this one was very similar. So this phase 1 was kind of this interior where the clubhouse and these buildings were, but these were all under construction at the same time. This was the additional phase that started, I believe, 6 to 8 months after the initial phase started. So we worked through all of that to understand, again, restrictions, requirements, needs, design, how do we stage it best for the customer? And I go through all of that typically on a call with a client to understand the nuances, because you said it's a very fluid thing that happens when it comes to a project, because that, let's say a job site trailer starts up here, but once they start opening up these phases, they need to move that job site trailer equipment staging and lay down. And now they're going to move it down here into this parking lot. So those are other nuances that we take into account with those mobility changes and alterations to the plan.
Yeah, right on. That's cool.
So I wanted to jump in and just show you kind of what an overlay would look like using Google Maps. So we've done this before. Big buzzword in the industry right now is data centers. So they'll take this massive plot of land that we're looking here, and just so that everyone's aware, this is middle of lovely Alabama, with no particular address included, because I can take this interactive map and I can move it around and do as I need. But what we do is we can use this. So if you give us an address to use, we can use this to design perimeter security around the edges, either in a very simple form or a very maximum form, meaning we can go around the entire perimeter. And so I'm going to drop in a True Shield unit that happens to have 2 PTZ cameras on it, because this is going to give me that capability of looking down through this entryway, but some of the more high risk areas that people may be coming through. So we may take this and say, I want some good perimeter coverage, but I don't have to have absolutely everything covered. Or like most data centers, they want to see the entire fence line covered. And so we will take these systems and we design them where we set them up and they meet each other to a certain point. And then I continue that fence line all the way around the project. And this helps that security team understand if somebody is coming up on that north, this would be northeast, so northeast corner. If the security team is posted down here by an entryway and somebody's trying to gain access back here, they're going to have that visibility and receive those alerts that they have motion in that area. So just a quick highlight of how we can use and strategically place and plan based on the site plan or, of course, that address.
Yeah, that's cool. Especially too, when you have Google Maps, you can kind of zoom it out and see the rest of the neighborhood and the city, and kind of even, if there's a major, well, you're out in the middle of nowhere there, but If you're in the middle of the city, you can kind of see which direction, if there's a major freeway or something, maybe a certain direction people may be coming from or going from or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. So that's the goal and the idea is even with something as simple as an address, we can get an idea of what's happening at any given time, any given point, anywhere across, of course, the United States and internationally.
That's cool, man.
So without further ado, I'm going to jump into the actual system. So yeah, it's cool to talk about how we lay it out and design it because we do want to make sure that we're covering all those things like your equipment, staging areas, your fence lines. We want to make sure that we're covering all those blind spots, but how does the system actually work? Great question, Matt. Great question. I love it.
You're reading my mind.
Yeah, there we go. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump in and take a look. So we offer an enterprise level dashboard. So when I say enterprise level, there's no amount of projects or cameras that you can have on a given dashboard, and there's no limitation. Mm-hmm. One of the other great parts is there's no limitation to the amount of users that you can allow to access through multiple avenues. They can have a login securely. You can have a secure link that they have to have a password for. Whatever fits best inside your team and stakeholders' plan for their jobs, we can assist.
Oh, so you can give it to link to the architect or the owner or whoever if they want to keep an eye on things.
Correct. Absolutely. Yeah. And you can give them direct level access to one project on your dashboard. If you're working for the same architect or owner on multiple projects, then they would basically have a link that would lead to all of their projects and cameras that are included on those projects on a single link, basically on a single dashboard. So it's super easy to allow and provide that level of access. So I'm going to go quickly through the differences, the actual differences of how it works from a PTZ to a fixed position. So let's start with fixed, the easiest one to cover. And I'll kind of give you the ideas behind the two different cameras and why we carry them. So this is a fixed position camera. Our 4K IR fix is going to offer you 114 degree standard field of view. So wider than a fence line. Typically, if the fence line, of course, traditionally right angled 95 degrees, we're going to be able to see both of the fence lines going out. And what we do, for instance, this is a true deter. So it has a light and siren on it to keep people from entering the job site. This is a traditional staging, lay down, and looks like a break tent area as well. At any time, you can access live video. If you do not provide live video to a specific user, they can refresh an image as quickly as they want to. So what we're doing is we're asking the camera to refresh that image so that they see the most current what's happening. And there you go. The guys are done on the break.
I knew you were watching them. They had to get back to work.
Had to get back to work. That's right. They saw me log in. So here we can do things like fit to screen. So we're going to take away the gray bars on the side, little cleaner look if you prefer that. We have sharing capability from any image or from the camera itself. You can download it. You can mark it up. And we do offer integrations with Procore, Drone Deploy, Raken. There's one more that's off the top of my head. I just lost it. So apologies for that. You can share them via email. If you are linked into Procore, the best part about the Procore integrations, I can come in here and if I see something concerning, or let's say I'm a project manager and something says, hey, I need to check on my site at 6:30 at night. I check on it and this door is still open. So somebody didn't close and lock the connects. I can come in here and change the color, grab a pen. I can quickly draw this around it. And now I can take that drawn up image and I can save it, or I can directly email it, or I can send it to somebody in Procore and create an actual RFI on the spot.
Oh, that's cool.
So that's the beauty of the system and the markup tool is when I see something that doesn't make sense, either I make a quick phone call or I can shoot it to somebody and say, hey, we need to get back out there and lock up this Connex before it gets dark out. So again, that happens either from the camera screen itself. So while you're watching the live video, while you see this image, and then it can also happen from any historical image that's been captured from the camera. And so I'm going to close out of the share screen.
You've got like Facebook and LinkedIn and other things in there. So I guess you have marketing people in here that'll use it for content?
Yeah, 100%. Yep. So you can share it to social media. You can highlight your project. Some of the coolest things I've seen. So we watch an eagle's nest off of the West Coast. We've captured birds flying through the screen. Like, there are a lot of cool things that you can do on social media to highlight your project, right?
That's
And
cool.
just say, hey, check out what we found on our project at X, Y, and Z.
That's pretty cool.
Yep. So you can share all of that to social media as well. And then we have things, of course, like time lapsing. So time lapsing from a fixed position standpoint, you can program this camera to take a picture every 60 seconds. And I jumped to security recordings instead, which is not bad. We'll go there in just a second. But as you can see, there's 28,283 images so far that are set up within this time lapse. I can access any date, any time, and I can go through and see my day-by-day progress, standard time lapse. And then we also offer the capability of creating custom movies from the images that have been captured. So this is really cool if you have those monthly project meetings where you get everybody together and you say, hey, where were we? Where are we at now? And so you can create this time lapse over the last 30 days, or maybe it's over the last quarter. And maybe that's something that you share direct with your owner or investors group as well. So a lot of great ways to share and get engagement on your project or keep people updated to create what I like to call a single source of truth. Everybody has the same information. Everybody can see the same thing on the sites. And so that's what this does for you. You can go one step further and use things like an image comparison tool. So I can come in here and I can change the date. So I'm going to see beginning of the month. And I'm going to see about midday. And now I can see what was sitting there before and what was sitting there after. And this is really cool when you're looking, of course, from the project scope and understanding the images that you've captured. How far along has my project come? To see all of that in one space at one time.
Yeah. It'd be real cool. You can see, I mean, even that, even the layout area, seeing like, as you deliver and are using the different materials and stuff and seeing stockpiles, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. So from a security recording standpoint, the average recording tension is going to be 60 days on the camera, but we allow all of our customers to come in and fetch them at any given time. You could log in any day of the week and you can fetch any one of these. And we do them in 10-minute blocks, just makes it a little bit more efficient to get you the information that you need. If there was an incident on site, let's say somebody drove over freshly laid concrete, or somebody was making a delivery and hit one of your employees' cars, whatever it may be, that's what this is for. If somebody breaks in overnight, we do things like self-alerting. So if you, on your project site, wanted to self-alert, you could have SMS or email sent to you directly, understanding the date and time stamp of when something happened on the project. So you'll see these little red indicators. That means that this camera during this 10-minute block picked up 9 motion events.
Wow.
So it makes it real easy to capture that data, jump into it and say, this is what I need. This is the timeline. And you can come in and grab as many or as few of these as you need. Once you fetch them, they're there for life. They're there with the project as long as the project lives. So I'll go back to January and February, and you'll see I still have some highlighted areas here. And so you'll have this running total where you're able to go back, fetch the information that you need, whether that be sharing it with insurance, if you've had a theft, if someone's broken in or there was an accident, and let's say we've been contacted by police asking if our camera captured a certain vehicle or a certain individual, they're able to go back and pull that footage and review it and send it to the proper authorities. Now I'm going to jump into a quick PTZ and show you the differences between those two. And so the biggest difference between fixed and, of course, a PTZ is the 360-degree capability and optical zoom functionality, meaning I can take this exact camera, and if I want to see into this parking lot, so let's say this is an extension of my project beyond the pink dumpster, I can actually activate live video, and you'll see when it turns green, we've gone into live video. Now I'm in live video. This is my project, but I want to see on the other side of the bridge. So I'm going to open up my viewfinder, and I'm going to tell this camera I want to look over here. So now I'm going to rotate this camera around, and then from there, I can do an area selection, and I can hone in on something very, very specific. Let's go back to home and let's see my computer's running a little slow, it seems. There we go. So now I can see that it's AT&S, or I can see what vehicles on the job site, whatever it is. But that's the difference between an optical and digital. So optical is getting that same resolution zoomed out or zoomed in, versus digital, which I can zoom in at any given time. But that zoom in becomes digital. So the further we zoom in, the more pixelated that image becomes. So 360 degree with optical functionality. So that's better set for those larger projects where you need to see multiple things at once, versus the alternative of a fixed position, which only gives you that single field of view.
Yeah.
Now let's go into, so I want to cover quickly more of our AI, so intelligence security that we've released. So let me jump into that one. And so I'm going to jump into what we call true AI. So it's a two-threaded platform right now. So right now we have site activity. So site activity is going to tell you how many people are on your project, how many vehicles, and if it's a car or a truck. So we have that data that's being built into the system, so you can understand, did somebody show up on site at 6:30 in the morning? Was that my delivery? So was it a truck at 6:30 in the morning? Are people still on my site at 5:30 p.m.? And how many people? Is there one or two? Maybe that's my superintendent making sure everything's buttoned up before he goes home. Mm-hmm. So all of those analytics are provided in a report that's also filterable to exact information that any of our customers might need. So you'll see all these trends, hot zones, when is the site most active at any given time. One level above that is PPE, meaning our cameras are looking for high-vis vest, hard hats, all the things that matter to your security teams to understand if everybody's doing the right things when they're on site. And so I can go to any one of these images, and it looks like there was no safety vest. And if I click on this, it'll take us directly to the day, and then I'll find the image where somebody was on site, and I can use that to go back to the team and say, hey, we need to have another chat with our project teams. We need to make sure we've got those hard hats and high-vis vests on at all times, right? Preventing an accident is always better than recovering from one.
Yeah. That's cool.
So any questions about the PPE?
So it's just monitoring the activity, and then I think I saw something on the website where it kind of threw a little square around what it was tracking, and that's that's pretty cool though too, because you can kind of see a trend line of how well you're doing, or maybe how bad you're doing too. And
correct. Yep. So it highlights every one of them, and I guess my computer's just running so slow because I've already clicked on it. Page unresponsive. That's probably my computer. But yes, what it does is it highlights the individual itself, and we like to give percentages of how accurate our system will be. And we use feedback from our customers. So if somebody is wearing, let's say, a high-vis shirt, but not a high-vis vest, then that is where that changes just a touch, right? And I may have to log in again and recycle that page real quick. So give me just a sec while I do that.
Yeah, while you're doing that, what's up, Gloria? I know Gloria was here. How you doing? Hope you're well, Gloria. I haven't talked to you in a while. But anyway, I think that when we was talking about, if you have a theft and you need your cameras for, giving it to insurance and giving it to the police and everything else, she says for large sites, it's a must, because it's not when something happens, it's when something happens. Because like every large
That's
job,
correct.
There's been at least one incident where you had some sort of unwanted guest on the job for one reason or another.
Yeah, and we find that quite a bit. And the truth is visibility is one of the biggest markers to rid yourself of those blind spots, right? The more visibility you have on that project, the more you're going to be able to see and have that single source of truth, so that everyone can see the same thing, understand the same thing, access the same data, and it can be provided to multiple authorities or whoever may need it.
But even then, just having one of those camera trailers parked right by your gate or something, right? Where everybody, if someone's going to drive by and they're looking at it, they're going to see that. They're going to go down to the one down the street that's not got a big camera at the entrance.
That's right. Yep. So the idea is to deter them from coming on the site in the first place. So flashing lights, and I'm sure we've all seen them in parking lots and wherever else that we've ventured in our lives, but it's just that kind of back of head reminder, oh, somebody's got a camera on me.
Yeah.
And so the goal is to deter them from even coming on the project, because if we're protecting your staging areas, your laydowns, your job site trailers, your entrances, if we're doing all that, giving you the visibility with that monitoring team backing you up, that's the best way to keep eyes on, because to that point, it's not if something will happen, it actually is when these days, it feels like. Real threats versus routine activity. So this is one of the things that we try and build into our system when we're monitoring. We want to understand if it's routine. Is there maybe a security guard or a police officer that's been dispatched just to ride around the job site? That would be considered a routine activity. We don't want to alert to that. So a real threat would be somebody that's sneaking under a fence or something similar to that. And I've got this cool little video. Let me refresh it real quick. And this will show you, by one of our customers with permission to share, of course, what happened on this individual job site. And so you'll see here, we've identified that there is a threat. And so it outlines it in the marker. And this is through IR imaging. But you'll see him walk up. He's not supposed to be there. He's got a flashlight in his hand, wearing a backpack. That guy is there to actively do something damaging to that project. And so police were dispatched. They were picked up. And everything worked as it should.
That's awesome.
So it's those are the things that we use our team to understand, again, routine activity or not. And then our team reaches out to the project team. So let's say that there is an occurrence that happens at 4:45 in the morning. It looks like a fuel truck, but they can't fully discern if it is. And so they'll send a notification down to the superintendent or whoever's on the call tree and let them know, hey, there's somebody on your site. And the super can easily disarm that alarm and say, no, do not dispatch police. I'm here with the fuel truck, whatever that may be. Right.
Yeah,
so there's a couple of ways to do that, but understanding the differences between those real threats and then just that routine. So if you're going to have those deliveries, our customers have the capability of coming in and actually pausing the monitoring as well. So if they know they have kind of that one-off that needs to be done, it's an emergency delivery that has to happen at 4:30 in the morning, they could come on and just quickly pause it as well.
Yeah. I had a job site this was years ago. We were working late one night trying to hit a deadline, and I don't even know what brand. I mean, it might have been y'all's cameras for all I know. But anyway, I was on a subcontractor side. The general contractor had a trailer there with cameras, and we're out there at 11 o'clock at night, midnight, trying to get stuff done, working late one night, hit our deadline, and they came over the talk down feature and like, hey, what are y'all doing here? I was having a whole conversation I was like, well, we're working. We're trying to meet a deadline. And I think they called the superintendent to verify because, obviously, not going to trust some random guy talking back to him. But,
Sure.
But yeah, I saw live in action because, there's really no reason we should have been out there at 11 o'clock at night, but we were.
Yep. Just trying to get that deadline done. So that's exactly what, understanding the project, understanding that routine activity versus the other side of it. And then to back that up, so as I previously stated with things like security recordings, you have evidence after an incident or an accident, whatever it may be. You'll always be able to go back and retrieve that. So that blind spot created without the video to back you up or photographic documentation to understand what transpired is always a great way to remove that. So I go back to and refer to kind of that whole everybody's included. It's the same single source of truth, because as they say, when I was growing up, the beauty was I got to do a lot of fun things, stupid things in my youth, but they were never recorded. Nobody had a cell phone. They weren't recording me. It's just, I have the scars and bruises back in the day to prove that I did what I did. These days, everybody's got one. So as they say now, if it's not on tape, it didn't happen.
Yeah.
I guess. Right.
Nowadays, you're going to do something stupid fun, and it's someone's gonna hit the Facebook button, and you're gonna be all over Facebook.
Somebody went viral. Yeah, wild.
Look at this idiot kid jumping the fence and crashing and falling on his face.
Yeah, bike tricks are fun. But yeah, so that's where it backs up you and your project team again, allowing everybody the access to all of the data that you're collecting is the best way to have the proof to back you up on what transpired at any given time. So we've talked about things like evolving site vulnerabilities. So if your project shifts or you need to move your primary workstation because you're now in the new phase and we're going to move it to what will soon be the future new phase, whatever that looks like. So that creates another blind spot where we try and help and make it as easy as possible to take this system, for instance, on a mobile trailer, as you just mentioned, but taking up 4 armature legs and pulling the camera down real quick to pull it across the site and set it back up at your new entry or, of course, staging area is a great way to have that mobility to do it. And if that's not the case, then simply finding another utility pole and taking it down and reinstalling it.
Yeah.
So a lot of great ways to make sure that we're covering for the blind spots on your project when it comes to those evolving sites. So a couple more quick things I want to run through here. So I know I had mentioned our sharing center. So multiple ways to gain access to any given camera at any given time. But if I want to create a sharing link that's designated to a specific ownership group, whether that be multiple projects I'm working with them, multiple cameras, I can do that from a sharing center. And what I could do is create a sharing link that configures very specific access for anyone that accesses that link. And then it can also, of course, as I mentioned before, be locked down with a security password. So that link could go out to 1,000 employees or 1,000 individuals and somehow make it out onto the web, right?
Yeah.
But if they don't have that actual password that goes along with that, they won't be able to access any of the data that happens. So you just give it a name. You would do things like configure access to any images, video, images only, recent image only. So very limited access. Do I want them to see my time lapses and photo albums? Security settings. So this is where you'll set that password. And then we get the long list of which project do I want to use and which cameras do I want to allow them access to. So we have customers that, of course, have 30 active projects running at any given time. Inside of those 30 projects, they may have an owner that they're working 2 projects for in 2 different cities, possibly. But that particular owner could have access to those 2 projects and cameras that are associated on one single link. So a very robust sharing platform that allows for us to do that. And the same thing is true with user profiles. If they want to design specific user profiles under our user management setting, they can create as many of these as they would like. I am one, and there are many more. But if they want to add those users, they do the exact same thing. What projects do you want them to have access to? So this is really good when you have a project manager that's managing, let's say, 2 or 3 projects that they have TrueLook cameras on them. They can come in here and they can say, okay, this project manager needs to see his 3 active projects, but this other project manager doesn't need to see. So Steve doesn't need to see what John's doing, and John doesn't need to see what Steve's doing because I don't want it to become an internal battle. So instead, they only see the projects that are associated to them or what matters most to them. We try and reduce the noise to make it easier to use the platform at any given time.
That's handy.
All right. Any other questions?
Lauren said, so we were talking about integrations a minute ago, and just to recap that, she says the integrations are Procore, Autodesk, Drone Deploy, which actually Procore and Drone Deploy are on the same page now. Procore bought them.
They are. Yep. Big news as of yesterday.
Raken and Onsite IQ. Is there?
That's the one I missed. Onsite IQ. Yeah.
Are there any other ones that you're working on? Any other integrations coming down the pike, or?
We're always looking for great partners to work with. We are looking into some new ones actively. I cannot mention them offhand. But what we can do is what we find is a lot of project management software platforms will have a sharing functionality built in, meaning I can use that same exact sharing link that I just created and they can build it into their individual platform, and it will allow them direct access.
That's cool.
So that's another reason why those sharing links exist, is because we can customize that level of access. They can create a sharing link that they drop into a URL box within their platform, and all they have to do is click it, and it takes them directly to the camera.
So like in Procore or Autodesk, is it, I saw the button where it says create an RFI. Can I use photos from here and put it into my daily report?
Yes, you can. So when it comes to photos, they automatically pass over to Procore.
Into the photo log, right? Inside Procore?
That's correct. Yep.
I got you.
So if I go into any one of my cameras, and let's say that it's this one, if I go into this camera itself, looks like it's starting the live stream. Give me just a sec. All right, so now we've got the live stream. I'm going to stop that quickly. Looks like it's a little rainy and wet today. What we do, there's two things. Number one is that you can directly share images to Procore, so instantly push them. And that is done when I go into the share button and just click Procore. So automatically push that image. The second level is the RFI that's designed, but the automatic level is done at a time-lapsing. So if you go in, and this is what I recommend to every one of my customers, when they want images to be pushed to Procore so they can keep it in their daily logs, that's perfect. You design a brand new time lapse, and I always recommend that you name it so you understand what it is. So it could be phase 1 Procore, but use the name of what you're looking to accomplish. Once you do that, you can do between certain hours continuously to 24 hours a day. I don't recommend that for Procore. Once a day or weekly. So there's a lot of different options for designing this specific time lapse. Once it's done, so let's say I want to do it once a day, and I want it to actually happen at midday, so 12 p.m. So it's going to happen right in the middle of the work hours. And so every day, this particular time lapse is going to snap that image for me. And then inside of the integration, I can tell this time lapse to push that image to Procore. If you're using something like your standard time lapse, where it may be taking an image every 60 seconds to 15 minutes, that's a lot of images to push over to Procore.
It's a lot to filter through.
That's a lot to filter through. So the best idea is design what you need and then use the platform that's already storing the 2,882, whatever many thousands of images that you're going to capture in your project. Use our platform to gather all of that data and information, but your daily log platform could include these images, and it's automatic for you. You never have to touch it again.
That's cool. And I guess you could do it. You could set it up for twice a day, once at noon and once at, say, 4 p.m. at wrap up. You can kind of see milestones throughout the day as things progressing.
You absolutely could. Yeah. My favorite time is probably towards the end of the day. So I get that kind of daily project check-in.
Yeah.
So you could do a 5 p.m. shot before it starts to get, waning dark hours. So that's another great time to consider to build that over and actually send it. And you can build as many of these time lapses as you would want. So if you want individual images every day that you can download and archive locally for your company, whatever that may be, because any one of these images we're hosting for you, but it's your data. So you'll have access to download any image at any given time and share across any platform that you want.
A lot of this is exterior stuff, but like once the walls go up, it's hard to, it looks like nothing's happening, but there's a lot of activity happening in the building. And is there some of those fixed cameras? Do y'all ever put them on the inside to monitor inside activity?
Yeah. So the beauty of our cameras is if you're using an exterior and you have no use for it on the exterior anymore, so everything has basically moved interior, any one of our cameras will and can function interior of your project. We also have some smaller cameras that do a great job. So something like our 2K IR fixed camera. So a great little bullet style camera. It's very easy to mount, especially interior, gives you a great 90-degree field of view approximately. So that's an option. We have an interior multi-sensor camera, as we call it. It actually has multiple cameras, so a PTZ camera and then 3 fixed cameras that look down in kind of a tripod setting. So think 3 ways, but it gives you that full 360-degree visibility. It's really good for large warehouse style, or if you're mounting it in let's say, a new headquarters building and they have this massive entryway. It's a great place to put it because you're going to get that full visibility of what's transpiring throughout the interior of the project.
That's pretty cool. It'd be in an office building or something where there's a bunch of rooms and maybe kind of tricky to monitor, but like I can see something cool. Like if you're building a big gymnasium or something, right? And you want to time lapse the construction of this gymnasium or some big open area, that'd be pretty cool. Or a football stadium or something like
football stadium. Yep. And that's very true. It gets, there are a lot of great companies that do virtual walkthroughs. As a matter of fact, we of course partner with some of those, Drone Deploy, as well as On-Site IQ. So they have great tools that allow for, especially like those offices or things where people can actually walk through. You get that virtual tour.
Yeah.
It's not something that we've looked at doing because there's already so many great partners and players in that space. This is kind of our mainstay, is securing the perimeter, keeping eyes on your project, one source of truth for anything that happens within that camera scope. That's what we do best.
We're running up here on an hour. We got about 8 minutes left. Is there anybody else in the audience? If you guys got any more questions or comments, let us know as we wrap up here. Well, so how does it work? You got do you purchase the cameras, lease the cameras?
Yeah, great question. So we do offer both platforms. From an ROI perspective, most of our standard cameras, even with solar equipment, if your project is 12 months or greater, it might make sense to purchase them. But we do offer both lease and purchase. And then for some of the more enhanced systems with things like solar mobile trailers, that typical ROI point falls more around the 24-month. But for those very large sites, again, buzzword data centers, some of those data centers are going to be building and expanding for the next 24 to 36 months, and maybe even longer. But the idea is that we will also help you understand what's going to work best for you and your team, not only now for this project, but in the future and down the road. So do you have the logistical capacity or even capability of taking an owned system and just moving it over to the next site and reinstalling it? It's just that easy. There's no fee for stopping and starting projects, just the monthly subscription to do all the wonderful things that I've shown you here. And all the integrations are also included at no additional cost.
I guess too, so if I do purchase a trailer, someone purchases a trailer with whatever configuration, and they wrap up this project, they could drag it over to the next project, and you guys would help them understand how that could fit onto their next job and stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. So as that job starts to wrap up, our customers would reach out and just say, hey, we're done here. Perfect. Thanks for letting us know. We'll get that project closed out for you. Where are you moving it? Oh, well, we've got a project 20 miles down the road we were going to take this trailer to. Awesome. Send over that site plan. Let us take a look at it. We'll give you the best reference point in our professional opinion of where to place that trailer so you get the best coverage and optimal functionality from the system at any given time.
It's awesome. I do want to remind everybody here, and I don't think you didn't pull up your slide sheet that showed it, but Lauren, before we forget, we're doing a deal too, a partnership with Construction Yeti and True Look, where if you come from this webinar, or really if you tell them Construction Yeti sent you, they're going to give you 10% off of any of your hardware purchases there. So truelook.com/Construction Yeti gets you that special link. And you go, I think you had it in there too. You can go and just drop in your site plan, and it'll go right to Scott, and Scott will give you his opinion on how you should set up your site.
Yeah, I'm happy to do so. Site plan, address, whatever works best for you or is easily accessible, we'd be happy to assist.
So I think that alone is worth its value. Because if you're not used to looking at cameras and not really knowing kind of how to position them and how best to lay it out, and kind of the different access points. And because even you were showing me something the other day, and I was thinking, my mind was going somewhere else, and you were explaining like, it was the kind of that pond down there, because like, that gives you a good angle, and you're like, well, no, they're gonna eventually be a pile of dirt right here, and you're gonna be blocked for probably months. Like, so that's probably not your best situation. And just thinking through some of that stuff.
Yeah, and we don't expect our customers to be camera experts, but that's what we're here for, is to help out, answer those questions, give them ideas and designs on what we would recommend based on the requirements and strategic outlines, whatever it is that they need. That's what we do, and that's why we exist.
Yeah. I mean, that service alone is probably, there's got to be a lot of value in that.
Yeah, and it's super easy at no cost to you. That's the beauty of it, is I can help anyone at any time with a project anywhere, and we'd love doing it.
Oh, I wanted to touch on that thing down in the bottom right-hand corner there. You were showing me where your system will adjust the height, and it'll show you even how high to put the camera.
Oh yeah, perfect. I'm glad you pointed that out, because I did miss that. So yeah, let's say that we're mounting a camera at 20 feet in the air. So typical utility post or temporary utility post, let's call it 30 feet. You're going to plant about 5 or 6 feet. So on average, about 20 feet in the air. And let's say that you're building a 4-story building, so it's going to be under 50 feet. So as long as you're 205 feet away, you're easily going to capture the entire height of the building. And you could even go up to 70 feet and still capture the target.
Saves you a lot of, it's been a long time since I've done math. Geometry or trigonometry.
It's a lot of geometry and math. Yeah, I love that it's here. Yeah. Kudos again to my CEO, Roger Yarrow, for building that in for us. Yeah. So if you ever have questions, so we also do, and one other little nuance thing, I know we're really close on time. I haven't seen any other questions pop up quite yet. But one of the other things we can provide is what we consider skyscraper mode. And where we can take our camera, and let's say we take that 114-degree horizontal field of view, but now I can rotate that vertically. So if I need to capture a very tall, very large building, we can give you an idea of how far back we need to recess that. Or let's say we're working in downtown Manhattan and you have a skyscraper, you're building a 25-story building next to a 20-story building. Well, what's going to work best, and how much room do I have between where a camera might be positioned versus what it's going to capture? And so that's the beauty of this, is it will help us understand, do we use building A, B, or C to watch the construction of your 25-story high-rise, whether that be Miami, Manhattan, Chicago, Atlanta, you name it, any big city, any high-rise. But that's the beauty of this tool, is it helps us identify the height the camera needs to be at and what we're going to be able to see on your behalf.
Man, I think it's cool. I mean, just if nothing else, just the deterrence of having a camera on site, just scares people away. But then it's, again, it's not the if, it's the when it happens. And then understanding too. I mean, I can't imagine me going out and trying to lay out and figure out where the best cameras go, and I'm probably gonna leave a gap or just not even understand the technology. So I think this site planner, I think this is so cool.
Yeah, it's instrumental, and I can't give my CEO kudos enough for assisting our team and putting this together. It's been lights out.
Well, Scott, we're running up here on an hour now. Are there any other things we missed we want to touch on, or?
Not that I can think of, but man, so excited to be here today. Matt, I appreciate the invite. It's been a lot of fun. I hope I've answered a lot of questions. If any additional questions come across, let me know. I'm happy to reach out and get answers where needed. Yeah.
So again, I'll throw that up there. If you want, you go to that truelook.com/construction Yeti. It's a little custom page the team built. If you go through there and you want Scott to take a look at your site, give him an address, give him your project plan like this, and he'll do some work for you. And then if you do decide to get some camera purchase, it's a 10% discount through that partnership. So Scott, I appreciate you, man. This was cool.
Awesome. Yes, sir. Looking forward to the next one.
Yeah, me too. So we'll chat soon, man. Thanks.
All right.